Hey, it's August the 21st, 2017. Yesterday morning, we were talking a little bit about slavery and some of the confusion that's surrounding slavery, and more to the point that we've all been lied to about slavery as far as what it is and how far that it reaches. There's a lot of confusion surrounding it. I thought we would take a moment out to elaborate as to more of the aspects concerning slavery and why it is so confusing. Right? I was watching a video, I was listening to a video earlier from Lionel uh, over there at Lionel Media here on YouTube. He's big on the internet. Lionel was going over some stuff concerning confusion, concerning to an extent slavery and how that all works. Concerning the economy, the market that is war, confusion, bewilderment, fear, not recognizing reality. There's a huge market to it. You might think of big agri or big pharma or the war industry, which is a big part of it. You might think of all sort of uh, economies such as oil, the oil trade, the drug trade. There is not a trade that is bigger than that of fear, of confusion, of bewilderment, of being put off balance. Because just spiritually speaking, generally speaking, this is when people tend to pay out the most money. See where I'm going? I mean, you get someone into a very serious situation, such as with their health, they're going to pay out all sort of money. You get people into a war with other people, and they're not exactly sure why they're in war. Well, they're going to pay out a lot of money. There's all sort of things that can mess off people's money simply from being confused, simply from being made afraid, simply from taking their eyes off of actual success, true success. There's a lot of money that could be made from that. In fact, all sort of money, the whole world's money can be made from that particular industry. That of confusion, stirring up conflict here, there, everywhere, wherever you can, because you have more money than anybody knows what to do with. There are people who operate in such ways. And understand they just keep stirring the pot. They make conflict happen here, there, and everywhere else between uh, different numbers of groups of people who simply don't even know better. People down on the ground who would succeed and prosper to no end had they even known better than to be so afraid of this, that, and the other person out here, than to be so confused and bewildered and devoid of reality from their fear, right? There's people out there who would be much, much, much more happier had they not been drawn into this. But it's easy to get drawn into it. And it's easy to get very angry when you're studying like the different various ways in which people all around the world are being lured into some sort of system of confusion, some sort of system of conflict, some sort of system of let's tear each other down and that's going to make some sort of positive difference. All right. This is a huge industry. It's the biggest industry, and it works completely off of lies and confusion. Right? Slavery. We were talking about slavery earlier. All right. Here's the thing. We think we're not under slavery. All right. I see and I talk to people every single day who's under slavery. Understand? Because the whole, I guess what you say, what's the biggest problem with slavery is that people are afraid. They're very confused. They're very bewildered. They don't understand how to rise up out of their circumstances. There's a lot of conflict involved, slavery. And then you might say, well, they also don't get paid money. They also can't really leave. Those are also bad things. It kind of impedes against what human beings refer to as their free will, right? Those are also bad things. All right, so let's take a step back. How many people out here, um, they get money. Not really, though. They don't get big amounts of money. And guess what? They can't move from where they're at. They're also stationary. And just in the way as regular, average, everyday, normal slaves, they're neck deep in confusion. They have no idea. The fear that's being pushed upon them and they're being overcome with, and therefore they're making terrible decisions. And they're slipping farther into slavery. All right. You might say, well, these people, uh, they got jobs. A lot of them have jobs out here and they're getting money. So that makes them not slaves. It's like, might I remind y'all, the slave masters, they don't live on the plantation no more. All right. They live far away from the plantation behind big old walls and security guards, the plantation owners. All right. They invented money. They, they said, hey, we got imaginary numbers. Y'all want to get to work for us? Y'all want to do everything that we say? And in fact, y'all want to give us all the money that we invented that's imaginary. You want to give it all back to us, all right? When you're afraid, when you've been put in a very compromised position by who? By us, right? When you're neck deep in conflict with people, complete total strangers, and you don't exactly know what they're thinking, and they don't know what you're thinking, but guess what? Y'all gonna kill each other anyways. You start to begin to understand that everybody involved, 99% of everybody involved in wars, like them or love them, honor them or don't, we're slaves. All right, they were neck deep in confusion. They didn't exactly know what was going down pertaining to the government that was putting them to war. Right. So now, as slaves, we get tossed this money. It's imaginary, and yet still we're giving it all back as fast as we can. Why? Well, because we're so afraid. We're so confused. We don't even know any better than to do that. Right? And then you might ask, well, what's the significance of throwing back this imaginary money? If it is just imaginary, let's forget about it. Well, the thing is, it happens to represent labor, just in the way that slavery did. We're giving away all our labor in the process of being so afraid of doing what we're been told, of hoping for the best and paying all sort of people money to keep us safe. And we're losing all sight of reality. That all being said, this is a way that, okay, oh, we're not slaves because we got $100 bills. Oh, great, we're not slaves. A lot of us can't move around, and not only that, a lot of us are living terrible, horrible lives, dude. Honestly, I've been looking at people here, and I just wish everybody who I know peace and contentment. They're not getting it though. These dollar bills, which are most of the dollar bills are digital by now, anyways. They're numbers. They're imaginary numbers. So you're not a slave. How? That's what I'm asking. Thing is, in my guesstimation, the whole point of this video today, right now, is you're not a slave. How? All right. You're not a slave by rising up, like I said, out of the confusion, out of the fear, out of the anger, because the anger is what clouds your judgment. You can rise up as a human being, an individual. You, by your lonesome, can rise up out of the confusion and start seeing things for what they are. Um, just a couple of themes here on this channel that are going to be reoccurring is that a lot of people are getting so afraid. See about what they see in the news. I'm asking you, don't get afraid. A lot of people are getting afraid. And a lot of people, through their anger, whether they know they have it or not, are losing sight of reality. Right? They're becoming very confused. And so they'll talk about certain things such as hate speech. And they'll say, well, people are losing their lives over this hate speech, over the bullying. And I keep bringing this up because people keep not hearing me. Right? Y'all, I just very simply, God bless y'all. I don't have a problem with y'all. But you're talking crazy, right? You're all over the map. Here's the thing, you cannot delete hate speech so long as people have words in their mouths. You cannot delete bullying. You can pour money, which is what happens. You can pour money into a situation. You're not going to delete anything. You probably aren't going to decrease anything, to be honest with you. People pouring their money and their effort and their time and their speech into this. Talking about we need to stop it with the hate speech. We need to stop it with the bullying. These are fantastical ideas. You're not going to stop it with the bullying because, first of all, you're putting your children in a prison, regardless of what it is you want to think. That is what it is. It's like junior league prison, school, public school. That's what you're doing, but it's all right. I'm not out here to judge you. I'm just saying, bullying, believe it or not, has existed before books, as far as we know, forever. Wherever people go, bullying. You want to delete it, or what is the cause? Why is it that y'all are getting all this money, right, and gathering up to for anti-bullying? Is that why? Something that's always existed, irregardless if I like it or not. I actually don't like being around it. Right? Hate speech. All right. People are talking about hate speech like people are losing their lives over it. You know what? People need a stronger foundation because hate speech has been happening since before books have been written. Like, do you understand how far this goes? Because people are so angry and they're not letting go of their anger. It's clouding their judgment. So reality doesn't matter. Right? I mean, I'm not here talking about my feelings. I'm saying reality though. But reality doesn't matter. And so they go after bullying and stuff. You got to understand that whether they think they're legitimate or not, these anti-bullying little foundations and stuff are completely illegitimate and are a scam, whether they know it or not. It does not make sense. They're They're working off of people's anger. You see how anger and confusion and fear makes money. They invented the money, they hand it to you, you give it right back. All right. There's other things that we could think about as far as, you know, let's not have senseless violence. All right. Let's come down very hard on senseless violence or people getting together and having gang fights. That seems like something that everybody should get their head around. But instead, they're like, oh, screw white Nazis, screw the white Nazis and stuff. It's like whatever. Screw all of them. I don't know. Well, let's not fight each other in the streets because that's stupid. And obviously, everybody's already figuring that out. Right? But we have to kind of rise above all the fear because we're going to pay out all sort of money to do it. Believe it or not, you're going to be more and more in bondage. I don't care how much money you make, right? You're going to go farther in and you're going to be looking for success and happiness and stuff all in there. Meanwhile, basically, you don't even have to subscribe to that. You could just be as free and content as you want today. If you want to, it's a mindset when you think about it. It's a mindset of getting past the fear, getting past like confusion and being all paranoid of this and that and the other person. Because you already understand that there's people out there on Earth who are who are getting paid unbelievable, like trillions of dollars from your fear. You enslave yourself, right? You make their job easier. They don't even have to enslave you or anything like that. They're off somewhere in their armored redoubts, or maybe off in their very secluded neighborhoods with all sort of security guards and stuff like that. Right? You do the job for them, unless you rise above in thought when you get rid of the fear, when you get rid of that anxiety, when you get rid of not even knowing your body. Like for example, people eat food all over the place and they don't know what they're eating. They're killing themselves. Right? I've seen a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people come and go in very unsavory ways. Why? Because they don't know how to eat food. They're that confused. It isn't a good look. It's not a good road. All the confusion and anger. Well, that's what's bringing the confusion. We don't need it no more. It's a great big old divide that's taking place. It's called the tribulation. I'll holler at y'all. It's August the 21st, 2017.